Hello Jabiru community. West Arnhem Regional Council's Sport, Recreation and Library teams have joined together today to bring you all story time. So let's please get comfortable and I'll read a story together. Today's story is To the Top End by Ronald Harvey. Thought quite appropriate being that we've come into dry season. In the wilderness, Uncle Kevin used his commando training to take some people whitewater rafting. He said that here in the rainforest there are wombats, Tassie devils, some trees are so tall they can touch the clouds, and Frankie spotted a fish. In Bass Strait it was very rough and very windy. And Uncle spent a lot of time feeding the fish, and dolphins stole our red ball, and Uncle Kev told us all about the giant sea creatures, and it was scary, but we didn't believe him. Dolphins swim around the boat. Uncle Kev told stories about giant sea creatures living in the depths of the sea, but they're not true. Giant squid. Bogon Jack's hut is the noisiest place in the high plains. In the deep, dark gully, a lyrebird sings 100 songs of different birds. And on a distant mountain, another answered. In the riverlands, it was really hot paddling, so we waited and visited a farm and brought oranges and peaches to eat on the riverbank. I learnt that in bird watching, it pays to look where you are going. While we paddled, Uncle Kev told us about the local bunyips. But we know Uncle Kev's only joking. We had fish and chips on the wharf. Dad and I saw swamp hens nesting. In the Flinders Ranges, we saw sulphur-crested cockies and red-tailed black cockatoos and yellow-tailed black cockatoos who fly funny. It was hot and dry, except in the creek. We hired bikes to ride, and the very bumpy road up the gorge, Dad said to ride carefully or we'd get flat tires. Looks like Dad's got a flat tire. Uncle Kev is a really clever rider. Oops. In the middle of the desert, we discovered a whole town underground. Uncle Kev climbed down an old shaft and came out in a strange room. And we got to meet some of the locals. Mum said there could be opals right here. We went prospecting for rare black opals beside the road. At Catajuda, Uncle Kevin went for a test flight in his ultralight by doing a lap of the rock. I know a helicopter pilot out at Uluru. Henry saw a mob of big red roos and a pack of dingoes. Circus of emus and a lone eagle. Henry has such an imagination. He thinks one of the rocks looks like Uncle Kev, only smaller. It was cool to see the water in the gorge, and a hawk swooped in on his dinner for below, and we did bird dances. And Uncle Kev went for a swim to practice his survival skills. I didn't want to dance in front of my family, I went off to look for water monsters, but they were just a myth. On the road to ups and down stations. Mr. Murphy rolled the ute again on a Saturday night. We took Uncle Kev's shortcut, lucky some bush mechanics helped us out. Hooray, at last we get to the Great Barrier Reef. We saw dolphins again. Uncle Kev guided the boat tours. We saw dugongs and sharks, turtles and clownfish, deep in the rainforest, wilderness turquoise, swallowtail butterflies, Uncle Kev and green ants. At Mystery Island, Uncle Kev showed us how to handle a racing yacht. We met some ladies who had paddled all the way from the mainland. We fed fish and snorkeled around the reefs. 5:30 a.m. at Yellow Waters, and it's already hot. We know where Yellow Waters is. We had a bird spotting competition. I saw 1 million birds, but Frankie won with 32 billion. We saw ducks fishing and fish ducking and water lilies and eagles. We saw turtles and salties and magpie geese and spoonbills and a jabiru and a brolga and eries and some Americans. Uncle Kev ran Swim with the Crocs tours here, but closed down when he lost his keys 10 years ago. Yay, we made it from Tassie to the very tip of the top end. And I kicked the ball into a brolga and she headed it on to an emu, but a kangaroo hit it on top of a turtle and then it swam out to a shark and he gave it to some dolphins and he passed it to Uncle and he kicked it right back out of Australia. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Please remember that if you'd like to request a book, leave it in the comments below.